Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Becki Gray and Rob Schofield. Republicans selected Charlotte to be the site of their 2020 convention, and there's some suggesting perhaps they should reconsider, particularly after the 2018 elections. What's their reasoning, and do you think it's going to happen, Becki?
I think that horse has left the barn. I think the convention is going to happen. Contracts have been signed. There's a RNC committee that's raising $70 million to hold this thing. I mean, I think that barn's out of the door, or the horse is out of the barn. But it does raise a question of, kind of with when John and Chris were talking in one of the other segments about whether or not we need a State of the Union. It does kind of raise the question, I mean, do we still need these big political conventions? Or we kind of past that? It used to be there were a lot of nominating speeches and there were actually votes that would, I mean, I'm old enough to remember, watching it well into the night when the deciding vote was cast and, everybody went crazy. It's no longer that. It's just a big show. Do we still need it? And when you consider the security cost, the disruption to the communities that it's held in, I mean, it is a national platform, but there are real pluses and minuses with it.
Gosh, I can remember back in the 50s and 60s, first on radio and then on television, watching these conventions, and they were so suspense-filled, and all of the networks had these big teams.
Correspondents were walking the
on
floor,
the floor
and talking
trying
to the delegation from Pennsylvania, how they were going to vote.
So back to Charlotte, 2020. Yeah. The Democrats had their convention in Charlotte in 2016 and left with a great big deficit.
Yeah, and it was pretty lame.
Yeah, well, I mean, so is Charlotte going to get left holding the bag on this one?
No, I think Charlotte probably feels though they're going to hold their nose. I think they're embarrassed sort of about the whole notion of the country seeing them somehow attached to Donald Trump, because most of the city of Charlotte is a Democratic city. The mayor,
it is now.
Yeah, the mayor is not going to speak, which is apparently breaking some tradition that the mayor usually gives a speech of welcome. Lyles isn't going to do that as far as I understand it. I agree with Becki. It's like a big TV show now. It could be done. Donald Trump is the ultimate TV star president. It could be done in a studio anywhere. He could have a little studio audience. But, they're going to fill some hotel rooms, and I guess they'll hold their nose.
There is one purpose to these conventions now. And somebody's got to just ramp up the troops and get them all excited and get them ready to go out and raise money.
Exactly, but with all the other platforms that are available, with social media and other places like that, another thing these conventions are used for is to sort of introduce new shining stars of the party to the delegates.
That's where we met
and
Barack
those
Obama the first time.
Exactly. Well, Ronald Reagan,
yeah.
Was another one. But that can be done in so many different ways. I mean, just look at sort of the superstars that are emerging from this new Congress. That they're doing this without a big convention. But one thing about this Charlotte convention, I think it was 2012 when the last convention was held. There was President Obama's re-election.
Was it 2012? I thought it was 2016.
I think it was 2012.
2012. Okay.
2012. But so this would be President Trump's re-election. Well, that's kind of a unique thing that Charlotte could talk about, and it is a great showcase for the city of Charlotte, and broader than that for North Carolina. But is it worth all of this?
It's good for business in Charlotte, I can say that.
Well, Tom, it is on the one hand, but there's also a tremendous expense to it. And you think of all the companies who have offices in downtown Charlotte whose employees are not going to be able to get to work during that week. I mean, and not just the 4 days of the convention, but probably a good 2-week period. It's also being held the latter part of August after school starts, and so it's tremendously disruptive to the school schedule. So, what are they going to do about that? Now, all big cities have these challenges too. That's not just with Charlotte, but I think it is that we're kind of at a point to really ask ourselves, is this all worth it?
I think Charlotte thought they might not actually get it. They ended up essentially being the only bidder for the darn thing, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, and my understanding is they were literally begged to do it.
Right.
Because nobody else wanted it.
You think back, remember 2008 when Barack Obama was first nominated in Denver, they actually filled the Invesco Field, or whatever they call Mile High Stadium now, with 80,000 people. Rally. I mean, that was a true event that people, and so you can imagine still conventions that would be something that lots of people would want to attend, that could be a real inspiring event, but I don't think this is going to be one of those.
Going to be interesting to watch. Well, thank you for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.